Over the many years and much experience that I have had traveling to other countries, living in other countries, and teaching, as well as life here in the United States, I have seen and experienced how difficult English can be, even for Americans. And this is why I want to take this chance to show everybody the 7 mistakes that I have seen or experienced most often when helping or speaking to others that are trying to learn English. And as always, please friends, I truly enjoy doing this for all of you. Please subscribe and hit the like button. I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you. Some languages that use prefixes often, like German or Russian, have more nuance in expression of verbs. English does use prefixes, but verbs often have a prefix limit. For example, do, redo, undo, overdo, underdo, no, transdo, interdo, subdo, no, and no. Maybe this is why teach and learn are easily confused. Let me show you these verbs in action because I see this mistake very often. Children, please open to page 55. You might think you know the difference between these two. You might know what they mean, but let's dig deeper. Both help to describe people or things, but fun can also be a thing. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. You can have fun, but you can't have funny. Almost always, this is the mistake that I see or hear. You are fun. You are funny. They sound the same, and in some languages, they mean the same thing. They're identical. However, in English, the difference is pretty big. You are fun. This means I enjoy spending time with you. You are funny. That means you make me laugh. Let's go through a few more examples. So funny. Beep boop boop beep boop beep. This is a lot of fun. This mistake is similar to number 2. Interested is when you want to know more about something else or someone else. I am interested in learning physics. The interested man read the newspaper. Interesting is when you think something else needs more attention. I am interesting. Ask me about my hobbies. The pyramids of Giza are so interesting. Yes, as Americans, we use our own pronunciation of companies from other countries. But here is some help so that you don't make the same mistake as we do. Adobe, Adobe, Xerox, Xerox, Nike, Nike, Chevrolet, Chevrolet, McDonald's, McDonald's, Visa, Visa. Now, I want to tell everybody a funny little story about my life. My daughter thinks the way my wife says McDonald's is funny. My wife is from Ukraine, so she uses a Ukrainian accent or a Russian accent when saying McDonald's. And my daughter says, "Mom, it's not McDonuts." You see, what is an infinitive? Is it a verb? No. Many languages have them, especially European languages. It's an important part of a language. They work like nouns or adjectives or adverbs. Let's take a look at some examples, and maybe you will begin to understand infinitives a little better. I like to read. I like to read. The verb is like, not read. To read is more like an activity, not an action. To sleep is why I go to bed. The verb is. To sleep seems like the subject. We went to the shop to buy ice cream. We went to the shop to buy ice cream. The verb went. To buy describes went. That is an adverb. Similar to number 4, a loanword is a word that one language borrows from another language, and often the word sounds almost the same, almost, but not completely the same. Common examples of loanwords are food, musical instruments, or even technology. Here are some examples: pizza, vodka, guitar. If the pronunciation of the original language and the new language are very different, and a person who speaks the original language comes to the country of the new language and they use the original accent, it may be difficult to understand in the new country. English vowels can be very difficult for people trying to learn English, even Americans and the British. We have 5 vowels in one kind of vowel: A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Each vowel has more than one sound. More than one sound! And the letters around the vowel letter can change the vowel sound. No! And when vowels sit next to each other, they speak to each other and they form a different sound. One might be quiet, one might be loud. And even when they're all alone, sometimes they're silent. So let's look at a few examples so we can try to understand a little better the sounds each vowel makes. In general, as Americans, we are taught each vowel more or less has 2 main sounds: a long sound and a short sound. Now I will go through each vowel. I will explain the long sound and the short sound, and I will give you examples. A. A makes 2 main sounds: A and Ah. Let's look at the long A examples: made, same, ate. Now let's look at the short A sounds: apple, dad, cat. Now let's look at the E, both long and short. Let's start with the long E sound. We, she, hero. And now for the short E sound. Set, met, bed. And now for the I, long and short sounds. And now for the long I sounds. Like, bite, time. And now for the short I sound. Sit, hid, mix. And next, the long and short O sound. Hope, wrote, go. And now for the short O sound. Not, hop, sock. Next up, the U, the long and short U sounds. Long U, cube, dude, use. And now for the short U sound. Run, cut, hug. And finally for that tricky Y that sometimes acts like a vowel. Y, try, lady, baby.